Hello listeners and viewers. Welcome to Kaduna State Ministry of Education Radio and TV e-learning program designed for our SS3 and other students staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. The present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is positioned as always to ensure that under his leadership, our students are not left behind in all areas of human endeavors, especially education. Kaduna State is the center of learning. Therefore, we want to ensure that our students excel in their forthcoming examinations and beyond. Students and other learners at home are given this opportunity in order to continue learning, as education is a continuous process. Different subjects will be taught in this program to assist students to perform excellently in the forthcoming Senior School Certificate examination being conducted by NECO and YAYOK as soon as schools reopen. Teachers making presentations will always provide their names and phone numbers during each presentation, and they can be contacted for questions, further explanations, and/or clarifications. The following numbers and contacts can also be reached for expression of any concern or observation: 090-865-00545 or 080-383-62072. Our website is www.education.kdsg.gov.ng. Our email education@kdsg.gov.ng or education.kdsg@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Our Twitter handle @Kaduna_MOE. Or our Facebook page, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Stay safe, stay at home, and learn well. Thank you, happy listening, and happy viewing.
Good day, learners and viewers at home. Welcome once again to the e-learning platform. Today, we are going to be considering a topic under a subject matter, metalwork. And the topic is entrepreneurship. Now, to go along, we shall consider the following outlines. The first is we shall try to define the concept of entrepreneurship. We'll see who is an entrepreneur. Then, of course, the types of entrepreneurship, which includes small-scale businesses, large companies, scalable setup, social, innovation, imitator, research, and buyer. These are all types of entrepreneurship. Then, of course, we'll look at the classification of entrepreneur, which includes the industrial, trading, service. Then the next is characteristics of an entrepreneur. Then we summarize and take assignment. Now, by way of introduction, entrepreneur is a special scheme. It takes a special kind of person to be an entrepreneur, to come up with an idea and put that idea into action. But it might interest you to know that it's not all ideas that work out. In fact, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, finds that about 50% of small businesses fail within the first 4 years. But entrepreneurs don't see the risks. They see the reward or profits. That is an entrepreneur for you. Now, by way of definition, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship refers to the concept of developing and managing a business venture in order to gain profit by taking several risks in the corporate world. It could also be seen as the willingness to start a new business. That is what entrepreneurship is all about in general. Now, let's see who is an entrepreneur. Because we have known that entrepreneurship is to put a business in action or bring out ideas to develop those ideas into workable facts. Now, who is an entrepreneur? We need to know who is an entrepreneur. This is a person who creates a new enterprise and embraces every challenge for its development and operation in order to get profits. An entrepreneur is that man or that person or group of people or group of persons that comes together in order to venture into any form of enterprise by the sole aim of getting a profit or proceed at the end of the business. Now we move straight to the various types of entrepreneur or entrepreneurship. The first type of entrepreneur is the small business, where a majority of businesses are small scale business because people in this kind of business are likely to make a profit that supports their family and a modest lifestyle. Now, this kind of business is common. It's found around and within our environment, where you see people like the plumbers, the hairdressers, the small boutiques, and metal craft workers, etc., etc. You see them around trying to put one or two things together in form of a business enterprise in order to achieve an income to sustain their family members and live a modest life. Now, apart from the small scale business, we also have what we call the large company entrepreneur. This type of entrepreneur, when a company has a finite amount of life cycle, is said to be a large business company with advanced professionals who knows how to sustain innovation. They create new services and products based on consumers' demand. For example, the Microsoft, the Google, etc., etc. This kind of business comprises professional people coming together who also know that there is a risk in this kind of joint venture. They put a certain amount which is definite that will take them along a period of time to establish the business and run the business effectively, and expecting a very huge profit at the end. Then the next one is scale setup entrepreneur. The scale setup entrepreneur, this kind of entrepreneurship, believes that their company can change the world. These are a form of people that comes together and they have all it takes to start up a business, and they believe that their business can change the entire world by what they offer. They often receive funding from venture capitalists and hire specialist employees. They seek rapid expansion and big profit in return. For example, the Facebook, the Instagram, and etc. You know, all these form of business are a form of conglomerate business that involve much fund required to establish this kind of business. And the people that comes together, they believe that the kind of business they are rendering or they are offering will in turn change the entire world. You agree with me that the Facebook today is taking the lead, the Instagram, the WhatsApp, and all that we have as a social media. These are kind of people that set up a scale of what people should use, and then in return, they get profit. A huge amount of return comes to them. The next one is social entrepreneur. The social entrepreneur is a person who wants to solve social problems with their product and services. Their main goal is to better the lives of people without big profits or wealth. For example, a combination of paid employee and volunteer, NGO, legal services, religious leaders fall under this category of entrepreneur. Their sole aim or goal at the end is not the profit, the huge amount of profit that is expected, but they prefer to better the life of people around them with the kind of service they present or they offer. This kind of social services include the legal, the NGO, non-governmental organizations, the religious bodies, and all of that. You will find them around the society coming up to you for one assistance or the other, which at times you don't pay anything. It goes free. Sometimes the reward or the profit that comes thereof is just a little, but they are happy because they provide solution to your problem. The next one is the innovative entrepreneur. The innovative entrepreneur. These are people who are constantly coming up with a new ideas and invention. They take this idea and run them into a business venture. For example, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. These are American based entrepreneurs that are mainly involved in innovative kind of entrepreneurship. The Microsoft Word and the Instagram, the Facebook are all made through inventive entrepreneurship. People who know how to create, who bring things to people that benefit them directly. And you cannot do without some of these things. They venture into this business knowing fully that there is risk, but the profit that comes in thereof is very huge. Another set of entrepreneur is the imitator. The imitator is another form of entrepreneur. These are entrepreneurs who use other business idea as inspiration, but work to improve on them. Now, what do I mean here? Already, somebody have invented something and is working for him, making profit along. Now, this kind of entrepreneur, the imitator, just like the name implies, they imitate what you have. Now, going through what you have on ground as an idea, they look at it holistically and then they try to improve on it, thereby getting a return in form of profit at the end of it. An imitator is a combination between an inventor and a hustler. They are willing to think of new ideas and work hard, yet they start by copying others. No matter how an imitator will try to bring out something to people, he must copy from someone who have invented or who have come up with an idea that he will improve on the idea and build upon it, thereby creating opportunity for him to strive. The next one is the researcher entrepreneur. Now, the researcher, just as the name implies here, takes their time. When starting a business, they want to do so and involve in so much possible research before they go into offering a product or service. They believe that with the right preparation and information, they have a higher chance of being successful. Now, if you look at it holistically, you agree with me that anything that has undergone a research process, at the end of it, you will come up with a definite plan or a workable plan that will make you succeed because you have checked other people's business idea, you have gone through the market, find out what people need, and all of that. Through this research, it helps you to gather all information that you need. And we say information is power. Now, by so doing, you'll be able to have a huge chance or high chance of being a successful entrepreneur or businessman. Now, there is another form of entrepreneur that we have, which we refer to as a buyer entrepreneur. The buyer entrepreneur here is a type of entrepreneur who uses their wealth, to fuel their business venture. They acquire promising business and expand their profits. The entrepreneur serves with less risks because the business is already a well-established one. Now, when we say buyer, that means you are buying a product or you are buying something. Now, this form of entrepreneur goes ahead to purchase an existing entrepreneur plan or idea of someone that has been on. Now, because he have the money, he used all the resources he have to acquire such business. By acquiring such business, he look at it and see where you stop, where he need to further, and then improve upon it. By so doing, he have less risks because the business already is established. Now let's move to what we refer to as the classification of entrepreneurs or enterprise. All enterprises are classified into these classes. Now, enterprises with both the public and the private sector are broadly classified into three groups. The first group is the industrial enterprises. The second group is the trading enterprises. Then we have the service enterprises. These are the three classification of enterprises that we have. Now, by way of explanation, the industrial enterprises are mainly concerned with the production of variety of raw materials, with the processing of these raw materials into sellable forms or goods for public consumption. Example of these industrial enterprises include the iron and steel, the limestone, the coke, and we have so many of the industrial enterprises today that we use to produce the raw material, to process this raw material to what we call sellable forms for the public consumption. This is what that is what the industrial enterprise is mainly concerned with. Then the trading enterprises. They buy and sell, just like the word implies, trading. They buy and sell raw materials, component, and product from various kind product by the industrial enterprises. These products that are made by the industrial enterprises, here the trading enterprises purchase this component, thereby processing them and selling them to the public, taking them to the market, selling them. It is not the duty of the industrial enterprise to go into selling this product, but this form of enterprise go ahead to buy the product from the industrial enterprise and selling them to the public. The next one is the service entrepreneur. The service entrepreneur. They are solely concerned with providing some form of service to other enterprises or individuals. The main category of service entrepreneur are the wholesaling or the warehousing. They provide transportation, maintenance, and repair of products or goods. Now, this form of enterprises are very, very essential because they provide the warehouse. They are mainly to provide the warehouse where you can go and acquire a space where you put your goods and services. They equally provide transportation for people to move from one place to the other. And of course, they provide maintenance services to the trading enterprise and the industrial enterprise, and also repair of machine, tools, and etc. Now, let's see what are the characteristics of an entrepreneur. When we say an entrepreneur, he should have some characteristics that are within his capability. Now, the first characteristics of any entrepreneur is motivation. An entrepreneur must be motivated by what he do and the service he render to people, and of course by the people he transacts such businesses with. He must be motivated in order to make him to move ahead. The next one is vision. Every entrepreneur must have what we call vision. He must be able to see the future. He must be able to plan and determine what next year or after 10 years, what will happen. Then the third one is passion. An entrepreneur must be passionate. He must feel at home with the kind of service he renders, either the industrial, the trading, or the service entrepreneur kind of service to people. He must be passionate on what he do. The next one is confident. An entrepreneur, from the beginning, I said, is a special kind of person that knows what he wants, with the mind that there is a risk in what he do. So he should have the confidence to go into the business without any distraction. Now, the last point there is decision making. An entrepreneur, a very good entrepreneur, must have a decision or a map for what he is doing in order to achieve the goal or the aim of whatever type of entrepreneur he is into. Decision making is very, very important. Now, in summary, when an individual or a group of persons want to establish an enterprise, the first thing they do is to decide what sort of business it will be. You have to decide, what kind of business am I going to do? Is it tailoring? Is it buying petroleum products, selling it to petroleum business people? Or is farming? All these are forms of business that you expect profit at the end. You now have to sit down and plan. Think very well. Put all the strategies together. Now, the first thing is the enterprise going to involve in manufacturing something? If so, what? What kind of thing am I manufacturing? 2, is it to be involved in trading? If so, what kind of goods am I trading? 3, is it to provide service? If yes, what kind of service? All these things you have to think about what to do and how to go about doing it. My students at home, I hope you have a nice time today. We have come to the end of our lesson, but before I finally go, I would like to leave you with the following assignment, which you reach me later through my WhatsApp or text message. Number 1A says, what is entrepreneurship? Define entrepreneurship. 1B, who is an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? 2, state 5 types of entrepreneur and explain just 3. State 5 types of entrepreneur and explain 3. Number 3, give 3 classifications of entrepreneur and write short notes on each of them. List or give 3 classifications of entrepreneur and write short notes on each of them. Now I repeat the question again. Number 1A, what is an entrepreneur? What is entrepreneurship? What is entrepreneurship? 1B, who is an entrepreneur? 2, state 5 types of entrepreneur and explain 3. State 5 types of entrepreneur and explain 3. Number 3, give 3 classifications of entrepreneur and write short note on each of them. Now, my name remains NATHANIEL James YAYOCK, your metalwork teacher. You can reach me through my WhatsApp or text message on this number 081 30 86 32 82. I repeat, 081 30 86 32 82. Remember, coronavirus is real, so stay home, stay safe, and keep learning. When we mix in our next class, we are going to continue from where we stopped on entrepreneurship. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.